3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody. I hope everybody's doing good today. Waiting on Mr. Stan to pop up here. He's finishing up dinner. He ended up cooking and it ran over a little bit. So I've had that happen many times. Totally get that. I see avid fisherman. I see Snake River catfishing, who I'm representing today. And Mr. LG Bass, my favorite Tom in the whole wide world. I hope everybody's had a great weekend. There's Miss Michelle. It's all mine. Hello, darling. It's great to see you as always. It's been a crazy week for me this week. I My 20-year-old dog. We ended up losing her a few days ago, so it's been a rough few weeks around here. That's 2 and 3 weeks. So it's been a little crazy, but um, she, like I said, she was 20 years old, and she had just gotten to where she couldn't hardly walk, and so it was time, and I feel settled in that. It wasn't a surprise, so it was a little easier to take. Not much, but a little. Hey, Del Hay Slip, welcome in. But I just been trying to support my daughter through that and get through it and get ready to go back to work tomorrow. Um, it's okay, Tom. Like I said, she was 20 and she lived a fantastic life. She got everything she ever wanted. Even the things she didn't want, she still got it. So she was spoiled rotten and she was completely loved, and that's all that matters. So now we've got, hey, Brooklyn's honeybees, welcome in. So now we got 3 old dogs in the pack left. We've had an older pack and we've got a younger pack. They're all one pack, but still in yet. So I've got a almost 16-year-old and a 15-year-old here, and then my daughter has a 13-year-old at her house, and then we've got our 3-year-olds. So we know it's coming with all of our older pack. All of them are old, for their. I mean, if your dog lives to be 15, you're a lucky person, and we've had them to 19 and 20. So, and thank goodness that none of these are sick that we know of. So hopefully we'll get a break and things will look up. On the garden front, I harvested my first cantaloupes this week. I got banana peppers and pickles, cucumbers I'm going to pickle. And so I'm really excited about that. Hello, Lance Makuga. Eating Chinese food. That sounds delicious. I'm going to eat dinner after this. I'm going to go down and see my daughter at work. She's still needing a little extra support, so I'm going to go down and see her after the show, and I'm going to grab some food while I'm out because I am hungry. I had the rest of what I had for lunch earlier today, but it's not enough. I'm still hungry, so we will get on the food front. I wonder what Stan was cooking. I bet it's something good. Ugh, yum. I'm hungry. I don't know what I'm going to eat yet though, so that's the mystery. I never do know until I pull in the drive-thru what I'm going for. So I'm indecisive when it comes to food. But I hope everybody has had a good week. And we've had bad storms here today. And I mean, the sky looks like it's about to open up and do damage. I mean, it looks rough around here. We've had rain showers on and off all day long. I planned on doing yard work today, and I got some of it done. But oh, nice! You picked your jalapenos. Well, I've got banana peppers growing, and I've got green peppers, and then my daughter has serrano. She has some type of giant pepper, and then she's got another kind of pepper. It's bigger. It's the same color as my banana peppers, but they're bigger. And she's got that. She's got a banana pepper at her house too. So we have been looking in. I've never canned, never done anything like that, never pickled. So we're going to give our hand at this week and see what we can do with our peppers, because we went out and picked I'm inundated with tomatoes as well, which is fantastic. My tomatoes are delicious. I'm loving them. And so I'm enjoying the fruits of the garden. I've been working hard on it all year. So and I did get 2 green peppers this week. So it's coming along. I've got zucchini out there. I've gotten one off the plant, and we had it for dinner the other night. So it's been nice. It's been nice having food. I can go out in my yard and I can get food and bring it back in, and I've got a meal. So it's been really cool. Since this is my first year of real gardening, um, I've turned into a plant person. So I'm really enjoying my plants, especially since I've been spending a lot of time at home taking care of Sasha while my daughter worked. And I've been home a lot lately. I haven't really been able to go anywhere for longer than about an hour because she had gotten to where she couldn't hardly get up, and she needed you to help her adjust, or she would just keep on and keep on and keep on and keep on. So we just really couldn't leave her very long. So, but that's okay. She was worth every minute of it. And I'm excited about pickling those peppers because we've got so many different kinds. And I'm really excited about my banana peppers. I love sweet banana peppers on my sandwiches and stuff. So I'm really excited about those. And my other tomato bush, it's doing really good. I'm getting a lot of tomatoes off of it. So yeah, it's a really good thing. I'm excited about it. I've got my green beans come up the other day, so I've got green beans going now, and it's just going all good. That my garden's looking good, so I'm really happy with it. What else you got growing, Michelle, besides jalapenos? I had read on how to pickle my peppers, just refrigerator pickling, just for that's stable for about a month. Not doing the bath, but I'm interested to see how you do it. I need you to make me a video so that way I can see, because I've got to figure out something. I've got to figure out how to can these tomatoes because I've got so many coming in that I don't want to lose them. They're too delicious. I've been, giving my neighbors some and giving my daughter some, and I've been having my daughter take some down to her work, and we just been sharing them with everybody, which has been fun. Hello, Teen Snagging Whiskers. Welcome in. And I love green beans too, Tom. I do too. And my watermelon's got a fungus. Part of the vine did, and I had to pull it up. So I had almost a full bed empty. So I went ahead and planted some green beans so I could have a bunch of green beans. So I'm excited about that. But we didn't come on here to talk about gardening. We come on here to talk about fishing. So that's enough of that. But today, as soon as Stan pops up here, we're going to wrap it up as far as talking about crappie. Next week, we are going to talk about crappie some more. Mr. Lyle Stokes is going to be our guest. And you've got Roma tomatoes, basil, oregano, chives, thyme, yum. So you got all the spices. I love it. I love going outside. My daughter's got all the herbs at her house. And so anytime I want to cook, anytime we want to do anything, I just go over to her house and cut, and we're good. I've got the lettuce. I've got the tomatoes. We grew, except for the peppers, except for the sweet banana peppers. She's got some things and I've got other things. So that way we complement each other, and we can feed each other that way. So yeah, I'm really excited about it, Tom. He's going to come in and talk about his jigs for crappie. Of course, in sunfish, you can use the same baits for crappie and sunfish. And they like it. I think the main thing about crappie and the main difference is, you got to get the depth right. You got to find out where they are in the water column. And you got to figure out what they're biting that day. And as long as it's an imitation of some type of minnow, they're going to go after it hard. So I'm really excited to have Lyle on. I was a little intimidated to ask him. Hey, Ashley Brady, welcome in. I was a little intimidated to ask Lyle for a while, but I figured this was a great time for him to come in, and I mentioned it. He said, yeah, and it's great. So I'm really excited to have him on the show next week. Hoping I can get Mr. Catfish and Crappie Mark up here too. He's been on this flathead hunt, and he's just been a busy man, so I haven't been able to snag him yet. But he's coming on the show too at some point. I'm real excited about that. But so has anybody went fishing this week? Has anybody gotten out? I didn't get to go this week with everything that happened. Hey, Wildcat Riggs, welcome in. It's great to see you as always. But yeah, did anybody get to go fishing this week? Anybody catch any big ones? Right now, I got to live vicariously through you because I've not been able to go. I went to Home Depot yesterday and I found this light that is literally the perfect light to take night fishing. And so my daughter was like, So usually when she says that, she's thinking about getting me one. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, this thing could probably light up the world. It's crazy, but it would be great for night fishing. And that's what I really love to do anyway. So, but yeah, I was hoping to get out there last week and this week. Yeah, you know what? Hey, Fishing for Whiskers, welcome in, Miss Rhonda. Weather has been extremely hot and thunderstorms here too, Tom. I think we're kind of in the same path, as storms go across the United States. They hit me and then they hit you. It's been extremely hot here, and there's been thunderstorms. Like I said, there's been thunderstorms here all day long. And it's just, I'm telling you, those hot, sticky days, I don't care. I can go out and I can be out when it's 30 degrees fishing. I can dress warm and I'm fine. The cold doesn't bother me, but I'm sitting out there and just not being able to breathe. It's not that fun for me. So I like it when it starts to cool down. I'm really looking forward to the fall. So I'll be out there a lot more in the fall. And just enjoying getting back to the lake. And now that all this is over with Sasha and stuff, I'll have time and I'll be able to, put some time towards doing the things that I love to do versus, what I have to take care of. So there's been a lot of have to take care of recently. So it's going to be good. But so I don't see that anybody's gotten to go fishing this past week. So Snaggin says Sean and I were planning on going out tomorrow evening, but there are storms rolling in. Yeah. I think right now storms are hitting a lot of the United States. So where are you at, Snaggin? What state are you in? Because I know here in Tennessee, it's been it's just today it looked like it was going to storm so bad that you would never ever ever want to walk outside in it. But it really, I mean, it's rained and then it stopped and then it's rained and it stopped. Richmond, Virginia. Okay. So you're in me and Tom's same path. So yeah, that makes sense. So we're kind of getting the same fronts and it's hitting as it goes across. So the storm's definitely affecting a lot of us for sure. And this heat wave is crazy. I'm kind of dreading to see what August is like after July and June have been so hot. So hopefully it's going to wrap up and get a little drier and we can all get out there and get to fishing some more. That would be great. But, I'm excited to see. Yeah, I know. Not fishing, Rhonda. Ah, gotcha. Nice, Snagging. You have a good time at that. I know it's fun. I know she's got a good challenge, and there's a lot of people fishing it, and it's fun. So y'all enjoy yourself. But well, since nobody's gone fishing much this week, I kind of, I was kind of like, dang, I have really got to get out there, and been trying in my mind to get out there, but sometimes life just prevents it, and there's just nothing that you can do about it. So. But I was looking up and trying to find some more interesting facts and things about crappie and all of that. And we kind of went over earlier. Went over all the fun facts and all of that. I really couldn't find a lot more stuff. And we've kind of talked about that the depth was very important with crappie, because they're schooling at a particular depth. I don't know if you guys, I know we've got several in our community here. Crappie fish all day. We've got several different catfish and crappie. We've got several crappie guys here in our group, and they're really good resources to go to. I know I've learned a lot from Richard Gene, the fishing machine. If you guys have never watched any of his videos, you need to look him up. He's a local guy. He's right up the road from me. He did live here, and now I think he's in Kentucky. But he can fish and he can catch those crappie, and he makes it so simple. So if you guys have never seen his channel, be sure and go and check it out. We've got Crappie Day Fish on. I know we have that. Another great channel. I was kind of looking to see who I had watched. I don't know if hello, Miss Tanya Hollis. Welcome in. There's another channel. It's Cole and Jay. It's Cole and Jay, and it's a husband and wife team that fish, and they fish for all different species. They catfish sometimes, but they get on slab crappie, and they're really fun to watch. They've got a beautiful little boy, and it's a really good channel too to get a lot of information about crappie fishing and all of that. So if you guys haven't checked their channel out, be sure to. They're really fun. But that Richard Gene, he's a hoot, and I really like him. So. How about you, Tanya? Have you gotten to go out fishing this week? Everybody else is getting hit with storms. Have you guys been hit with storms this past week? Curious to see. I know these thunderstorms are something else. Let me see. It still looks like the sky still looks like it's gonna just open wide in like 5 minutes. It's crazy dark and it looks scary outside. But yeah, I hate with the storms. But I hope you get home safe, Rhonda. I seen that you said that if you ever get home, I hope you get home safe. Yeah. Be sure and drive safe. Thanks for coming in the show. Whenever you're driving, that's awesome. Oh, you got to fish over last weekend. It stormed here bad last night. Yeah. Yeah. Seems like everybody's getting hit with it. So, absolutely. I hope Dominic's okay. I hope he's doing good. But still waiting on Stan. I'm kind of ho-humming at this point. Was waiting on him. We were going to talk a little bit more about baits and all of that. We did talk about, a lot of people use minnows. Minnows are a great bait for crappie. A lot of people will use a jig and either use a rubber piece on it or put an actual minnow on a jig head. And you can switch it around, and you just got to figure out kind of what they like. But if you've got anything with a minnow or that flashes like a minnow, I'm sure Lyle will talk about that, a lot whenever he's talking about his jigs and stuff up here next week. But I swear with crappie, it's just a depth thing. I know Milliken Fish, and he's really interesting to watch when he fishes for crappie because he uses he uses his live scope, which is really interesting. Oh, Dominic is with Miss Parker, so he is good. Well, at least you got a break. At least you've got a break. That's wonderful, though. Yeah, I know. Sometimes you just can't drag your butt out of bed. Sometimes it just is what it is. So I figured that it was going to be raining so hard when I got off of here that I didn't drive down west because my daughter's down west at her job, and I don't drive my car. I need new tires on my car, and it I slid last week and it scared me in the rain, and so I'm not driving out in whenever it's storming right now until I can get some new tires on the car. He's Miss Dana's problem. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's all right. We'll let him be Miss Dana's problem for a little while. I adore Dominic though. He's funny. He's something else. But we're gonna have to all get together and fish again since I didn't get to fish too much at the get together up at for Daryl's get together, Trophy Seekers Outdoors, and everything that could have happened. And my dog hurt his foot. And hey, Sogo, welcome in. Um, my dog hurt his foot and everything else. It was just crazy. It's just been my life has just been crazy. It's been up in the air 24/7 for so long. I'm ready for it to settle down and calm down and get back in the groove again because, man, it's about time. I am tired. I am tired of all the changes and all the craziness. And whew, when it rains, it pours, but I'm tired of it pouring here. We need some good weather. So, hey, Joe Ziegler, welcome in. It's great to see you. Great to see you. Yeah, I popped on a few shows this week, and unfortunately, I didn't get to get into a lot of things because we lost Sasha on Tuesday, um, and so I haven't the shows that I normally watch through the week. I didn't really get to get on the computer. I couldn't do it. So I missed Muskrat, and I always watch his show, and I miss Mark. I've just missed everything. So I tried to jump in when I could and just have it playing in the background, but like I said, things happen. But anyway, so is anybody planning on going crappie fishing anytime soon? Hopefully, hopefully crappie. I know. One thing that I've read, and I've read it a lot, is that, and I see it because I know that the guys down at the bridge right down from the pierce where I fish a lot, they will go crappie fishing at night, and crappie seem to bite between about midnight and 2 o'clock. And as I was reading more about it and everything, it did say that 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 was their main feeding time is between 12 and 2. So hey, will ya? Well, that's awesome. So, what kind of baits do you use, Sogo, whenever you're chasing crappie? And do you use your depth finder to determine the depth of the fish, or how do you determine exactly where they are? It's wonderful having a depth finder because it's so, and that's one thing that I really like watching about Milliken whenever he's fishing for crappie, is that he'll show you the live scope and you can actually see the fish hit. You can see where he's at, you can see where his bait is. It's really cool to watch. Um, you catch them on wax worms. Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, and I have too. I have caught plenty of crappie fishing for bluegill. I do the exact. I've had the exact same experience. I fish for crappie sometimes. Like I've said before, there's one spot that I'll go to just to fish for crappie, but I don't fish primarily for crappie very often. Most of the time, crappie are, like you say, Tanya, a side. It's a bonus basically. We used to fish for crappie a lot whenever I grew up on a boat, minnow and jigs under a bobber and you don't have a depth finder. So you just let your line out and to be able to find the depth that they're at. Do you find where you fish that um, they are always at a particular depth? And that's a great question, Joe. What live tourneys are there this weekend? You use a bobber too? See, I don't use bobbers whenever I fish very often. Um, because where I fish for bluegill all the time, um, it's at a pier, and I know of 3 trees that are underwater, and I know where they stack, and I always catch them right off the bottom. So if I don't have a hold of my rod, if I'm using a bobber, I'll miss them. I miss them a lot more. So I just hold that rod, and I really don't fish with a bobber very often. Um, they're great, and it just depends on where you're fishing at. I did whenever I was up at the gathering. I did put a bobber on 2 of my rods, and I was fishing there at my campsite. And here's Mr. Stan. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
How's dinner?
It was very good. it was
Good.
like uh it was like cheesy Spanish rice with hamburger and
Mm,
some like tortillas and stuff.
yum, yum. We were talking about, do you know of any live tourneys that are happening this week?
Uh I'm not sure when. There's going to be the Midnight Madness Bank First Boat, but I don't think it's this weekend. I think they're going to do it uh on a different one on Brian B's.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Well, of course, you got Stand Day on Sunday morning. Cats
Of
and
course.
Carp Challenge.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah, no, I don't know of any other ones this week.
Gotcha. We were talking about there's Sogo's getting ready to go crappie fishing, and I was asking him about the depth, how he found. Did he have a depth finder? Did he fish with a depth finder, or did he was he fishing? How did he determine where the fish were in the water column? And he said that there's a bridge that always has them 18 to 20 foot deep. He starts off a few feet deep and just work lower. Yep, yep, that's
Yes,
exactly.
Sogo brings up a good point there. Start off a few feet deep and work lower because, like most fish, especially fish, if you notice a fish that has the bottom jaw that sticks out further than the top, and their eyes, the way their eyes are crappie are they feed up. They don't feed. You don't really see them feeding down. So crappie always feed up. So start off shallower and then go move your way deeper as you go out. Good point, Sogo.
That's a really good point. Yeah. Because when I'm fishing for like when I'm fishing for sunfish, I always start at the bottom and come up
Mm-hmm.
until. But that's on the pier where I fish, like I said, and I know there's structure down there, and so, and of course, Joe Ziegler says, "Yes, sir. I watch Stand Day every week."
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Josie. I really appreciate you being out there. Thank you, thank you.
And hello, Mike Irvin. Welcome in. It's great to see you. Tanya Hollis says there's a tournament on Saturday on Hogley's channel, so we've got that.
Oh, and who's going again? Oh, that's right. That's right. I think this is they got teams. I think that's. Oh my gosh, is it the end? It is the end of July already. It's just great. Time does not stop, and I I know, Kaz, you don't got to worry about this because you're still young. But as you get older, man, the time you'd think time slows down, but it doesn't. It gets quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker.
Well,
It is nuts.
you're so sweet to say I'm young, but I'm not. My time goes flies by. And I see all that fluff and stuff. Hello. Great to see you in here. And there's Paul Boyd, P&B Catfishing. Welcome
So,
in.
Paul,
Great to see you. And But yeah, Tanya says that she fishes for bluegill from the top to the bottom, and that's probably, in a lot of instances, that's the smart thing to do. But I guess just where I fish, I know where they are, I know how they stack, and I know, it's just about knowing your waters. It doesn't matter what you fish for. It doesn't matter what species of fish. You got to know your waters, and I know where they are. I know where they are. So I don't use the bobber, and I know where to go with them. So there. Now it's different going somewhere else. Of course, it's when it's a water that you don't know or that you haven't already learned. You definitely got to do a different tactic. That's just my tactic for that one spot. So.
Yeah, because sunfish, bluegill, and it's funny how across the country for sunfish you've got different. Some people call all sunfish bluegill. That's what we did in like the Northeast. It was either sunfish or bluegills. Everything was a bluegill. Could have been a pumpkin seed, a red ear, didn't matter. They were all bluegills.
Mm-hmm.
But and they all feed and act a little differently, just like the different species of catfish. They're still catfish. They all have most are similarities, but there's little differences. But yeah, a lot of times in the wintertime, even sunfish will be right down on the bottom. It's shocking, but I used to do a lot of ice fishing with the ice jigs and stuff, and more often than not, we'd find most of the panfish, the bluegills and yellow perch and stuff will be right down on the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But a good Tanya is right with summertime. A lot of times you'll have there's a lot of insects and stuff in summertime, and one of the main food sources of bluegill or sunfish, whatever, are insects. So especially around lily pads, weeds, things like that. They're that sometime a lot of insects, a lot of things falling on the water, so they're used to hearing something hit and boom, they go up and get it. So
absolutely. Yeah. And Tanya says she calls them bluegill, even though she knows some are different. And I do the same thing. That's what I grew up doing. Everything's a bluegill. Everything, all of those fish are bluegill. And I never, even though I know crappie are still in the same family, I never considered crappie a sunfish. It was never anything that I considered or knew, I guess. It was just, I thought crappie were their own thing, but they're not. They're part of the sunfish family as well. So, it's interesting. But yeah, Tanya was saying earlier that she would catch crappie accidentally when she fishes for sunfish and on waxworms, and that's insects like you were saying.
Yeah, up north, the waxworms and the mousies and all those type of things like that. That's what primarily everybody uses for panfish. Anyhow, through the ice, is they'll get all those type of baits, mealworms, all those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we actually caught. We used to catch big bass through the ice on little mealworms and stuff like that on little jigs. And that when the iced over like that, they'll take any opportunity they get to feed, and they come through and there's a nice juicy little mealworm or little thing. They don't got to chase it. Water's cold, so they don't want to use a lot of energy. So any little meal like that they come across, bam, they love all that stuff.
Absolutely. I know I really would love to go ice fishing. I've never gotten to experience that, and I would love it.
Well, it's awesome, except you better have some cover. Like it was sometimes with the wind chill, you're out there on the ice and it's like 40 below zero. It's you'd actually you'd build up a little wall with snow to block the wind from coming over.
Right. Yeah, Tanya, and I've noticed that too. The sunfish that are near shore, they stay more shallow, but as they move out in the water, they definitely do go deep. And they go deeper the hotter it gets. I've noticed a lot of the small ones, they'll stay at shore, feeding on insects and feeding on things off the side. But the fish that are on out, they definitely go deep, especially if they can find some good structure.
Yeah, another awesome point. That's like a lot of times if you're looking for your bigger bluegills or your bigger panfish, back up off a little deeper, and that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Great information out there tonight.
Absolutely. And Joe says a beetle spin with a piece of red worm on the hook is deadly, and he is right. He is right. A beetle spin or an inline spinner. I've noticed that. They drive me crazy. I hate the what do you call the hooks with 3 hooks on them? What are they called?
Treble hooks.
Treble hooks. I don't know why that wasn't coming to me. They drive me crazy. I get stuck by treble hooks more than any other hook that there is. It drives me nuts. Tanya said, yeah, she had to go deep the other day when she was fishing for them. And yeah, I always do where I fish at. So
yeah, without a doubt, it was probably 100+ degrees down where they're at, and at least water's temp on surface temp was probably in the 90s. So yeah.
Yeah, and had to make sure it was pretty shady. Absolutely. Yep. That's exactly it. And I think that's too, from the dock that I fish on, it's real shady, underneath, even the sun, the way that it hits, it doesn't necessarily shine directly underneath the piers, just where it's located. So, yeah, I definitely have noticed that as well, Tanya. Absolutely. So it looks like everybody's had bad storms. Have you been having bad storms, Stan?
We had not too bad. We had a couple thunderstorms come through. We had some heat you get this heat like this in the summertime, you get those that heat lightning and things like that. But no, we hasn't been too bad. We had 1 or 2 pretty good storms come through, but that was it.
Gotcha. There's a lot of people on here that have been talking. Nobody's really gotten to go fishing this week because of the storms. Have you gotten to go this week?
No, I didn't. I went, Saturday night, and then we ended up coming home before stand day. So I ended up doing that from the house, and then haven't been out since then.
Gotcha. Fluff says, unfortunately, they're not going fishing until they get another trailer for their boat. Uh-oh. Yeah, $5,000 for a new boat trailer. Absolutely. Start hunting Marketplace. I live on there, so.
Well, I don't know if it's the same over there, Fluff and stuff, but sometimes you get lucky, and lately trailers are worth more than the dang boats, and sometimes you get lucky and somebody wants to get rid of their boat that they've had in the garage and say just come pick it up, and you go dump the boat and use the trailer.
That's true. I don't even
at an approved landfill. I'm not saying just go dump the boat out,
Just don't dump it anywhere.
No, I was me, sometimes I say things before I actually think it out, but no, I meant, go legally get rid of the boat. And
do you guys have that over there, Fluff? Do you guys do Facebook Marketplace or anything like that? I'm curious to know if they have the same thing somewhere, or how they do it, how they end up getting you stuff. That's interesting to me. But well, hopefully you'll find a trailer that's cheaper, and that maybe it'll need a little work, but maybe it won't be in such bad shape, and it'll be a little more affordable for you. Try and fish if it's not lightning. Yep. Tanya says they're expecting storms for the rest of the week. She's going to try to fish, but that lightning will ruin your day, won't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, last Saturday night, it was supposed to be crystal clear, no issues. And that's when Freddie and Nina came, and we were all fishing the Midnight Madness tournament. Well, we wanted to be on the river by 10 o'clock because we want the freshest bait. The James River, that's just, goes to knowing your rivers. The biggest fish here in the James River, they will hit on the freshest bait possible most of the time. So we usually just get bait right then and there as we fish, or as, right before we start fishing. And so we figured, all right, we'll hit the water at 10 o'clock. Well, we're on the way to the river, and all of a sudden, bam, just lightning filling the sky out of nowhere. and out of nowhere, this never rained, but just lightning, really bad lightning going, filling the whole sky, and wind. It was rocking. Just the boat sitting on the trailer was rocking with all the wind and everything. So it was about almost 11 by the time we were able to get on the water.
Oh, wow. Wow. At least it ended there, because I've seen you do that. I've seen every time that I've seen you go out fishing, you all are always fishing for bait.
Yeah.
I mean, while you're fishing, you know, you got your catfish rods out, and I'm always doing the same for bluegill, because where I'm at, there's not a ton of skipjack in right there where at the dock. You can catch skipjack every now and then, but it's not like there's not a lot. So, but yeah, I catch that. I'm always fishing for bluegill. And Fluff says, yeah, they got a Facebook marketplace, but they
That's
decided
cool.
to bite the bullet and get a good one. So yeah, I understand that. Sometimes, you know, it's worth, especially when you love to go fishing as much as she does, you know, just to go ahead and invest when you can. So
Joe Z says that's what they do, beat the banks for bait on the way to the fishing hole. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I love catfishing because you can sit back and relax. And some nights I like to do that, just sit back and relax and watch the rods. But most of the time I want to, you know, I'm still wanting to fish. So I'm always fishing for bluegill or fishing for whatever, while I'm catfishing. So, and I'll get tired and take a rest, and then I'll start fishing again. So
Tanya said, speaking of storms, it started thundering right now.
yep. Fluff says she does love her fishing. It's her way of life here. Yeah. Yeah. I hope I get to fish that Great Barrier Reef one day. It's it's on my bucket list. So,
And you know, speaking of the Great Barrier Reef and just saltwater in general, that's what's pretty cool a lot of times about doing the saltwater is you never know whether you're bottom fishing or even top water fishing with a lure, crankbait or whatever, jig fishing. You never know what you're going to catch. There's so many different species in saltwater that you could go 10, 15 species in a day, in a couple hours, and not move. It's just, I love fishing saltwater. It's a lot of fun.
I do too. It doesn't matter. Everything fights good in the ocean, you know, and it's everything that you fish for it's fun. I don't know. It's just, and maybe it's just because it's different and I'm not used to it. I don't get to do it that often. And when I do, it's like, I love it. But yeah.
I know. Well, it's funny when I talk to people down like Virginia Beach and down that way, that's all they do is saltwater. And then we tell them about catfishing. Like, man, I always want to go. I want to go up to the James and fish for catfish. So yeah, that might be part of it. It's different for us because we don't do it every day, and they do it every day and want to go try something different too.
You always want what you don't have, isn't that?
Yeah.
That's just the way life goes, man. You always want what you don't have. But yeah.
Hey, there's team. Speaking of the last weekend, there's Team Snag and Whiskers. How's it going, Dustin?
Yep. So let's see. Oh, Mike Irvin says that the rain, he thinks his storm is over. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I'm tired of the storms. I'm ready for it to clear up and get pretty and give us some good weather. But it does make it easy with the garden. I don't have to water as much. So I just, but then I feel like I'm not doing anything. I don't know. I feel like I should go out and water anyways. I don't, but I'm like, I do it every single night, and I water. I know they recommend that you water in the morning, but I'm not a morning person. I'm not getting up early in the morning to go water nothing. It's not happening. No way. They could sit out there and die. I could not. If I couldn't water at night, I wouldn't have a garden. So,
well, I think watering at night still gets it done right because it's that sun's not on it. The main thing is don't water midday, 100-degree weather, and that water on it. Oh man, that'll burn. That'll burn your plants good.
100%, 100%. But I figure if at night I don't get that, I try not to get the water on the leaves anyways. But you know, it is what it is. Tanya says Mr. Parker, Brokeback Bob, and Dominic are all fishing together tonight. So that'll be fun to watch. That'll be fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
On Jody's show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And for those that haven't heard yet, I'm just taking a break from the Thursday nights for a while from that. As you can see, even getting on here, I'm running late and things with but yeah, I haven't definitely at least the rest of the summer taken not doing the Thursday nights with Jody right now.
Yeah, Teen Snag and Whisker said he's gonna co-host tonight, so that'll be fun.
Oh, there you go. Awesome. Good job, Dustin.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. Never a bad thing to get a change. Sometimes you just, you need a change and you can't do it anymore. So I got it. Did you see the golf cart Mr. Parker got from the community? No, I did not see the golf cart. Is it awesome? Have you seen it, Stan?
No, I saw he had the didn't he have he had the 3-wheel bike, I thought, right? I thought he had a bike that I saw him pedaling around on.
That's cool. Hey, CVA, welcome in.
CVA in the house. How are you?
It's great to see you. I was telling everybody next week we're going to have Mr. Lyle Stokes on here talking about his jigs and talking about crappie fishing. We're going to wrap crappie up next week. Then we're going to move on to bass, and hopefully my favorite Tom in the world might agree to come on and talk to us about some bass fishing. I haven't asked him yet, but hopefully I can talk him into it. And we'll cover bass real quick, and then we're going to jump into catfish. So I'm excited to get into catfish, and I just, kind of wanted to leave that ladder so that way we could, somebody new could crawl up the ladder and go as they go. But I'm about ready to get into where we love to be in the catfish community. So,
hey, I used to do, before we moved down here, I used to do a lot of bass fishing. Mm-hmm. The lake we lived on had a lot of, really good sized bass for upstate New York. And I think the biggest bass that we caught there was I think like 9 pounds 3 ounces, I think, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. But we'd catch a bunch of 5-pounders or so, and some big smallmouths, and a lot of big chain pickerel and pike and things like that too. So that's what we did.
Mm-hmm. I used to fish a lot for hey, Sean Seeley, welcome in. I used to fish. I'll have to speak to your agent, Tom. Okay, I can do that. I've got his phone number. I love it. But yeah, we've got I used to fish for smallmouth a lot. I would catch a few largemouth, but we fished for smallmouth primarily when I was growing up. So they're fun to catch. It doesn't matter what kind of fish it is. It's fun to catch. May not be as fun as our catfish, and we all like something different for different reasons, but they're fun to catch.
The biggest thing that I have found, and especially with being like in the military and being all over the place and fishing all over the place, I like to go for the biggest fish area. But if you're match your tackle to what is there, and you'll have a blast doing it. It wouldn't be fun sitting there with a medium heavy catfish rod and trying to catch, little bluegill or yellow perch. It's just not going to, or even white perch, just not going to be fun. Mm-hmm. But you put a ultralight or even just a light action rod and, and some small weight line, 4-pound test, whatnot, and you feel like you're catching monsters out there, catching 10-inch bluegill.
Absolutely.
Same thing. Just match what you're. That's why I never. If whatever fish you have in your area, whatever fish to get you excited, that's what it's all about. And I've said it a bunch of times. It's not the size of the fish, but mm-hmm. the size of the excitement that fish brings you, and I really believe that, and that's it doesn't have to be monster catfish. It can be bluegill, it can be crappie like we're talking about now, yellow perch, whatever you get excited over fishing and catching, go out and do it. But you'll have a better time if you match your tackle to what you're fishing for.
There's Sandy Toes. Welcome in. And it is on lighter gear. And speaking of gear, that's good that she brought that up. for crappie, what do you usually suggest? Like 4 to 6 pound test line and a light action rod? Is that probably the best setup for crappie?
I would say so. And myself, and I know a lot of other people, usually like a longer rod for crappie.
Mm-hmm.
But basically whatever you have, that's well, because you're using a lot of lighter, especially if you're cast stuff, you're using a lot of lighter, lighter jigs and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So a longer rod will help you cast that lighter jig better. And the same reason for using the lighter line, it'll cast that lighter jig better.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the lighter line, crappie can. That's why you hear a lot about different color crappie jigs and things like that. Crappie can detect things like that a lot better than some other fish. So they may be a little bit more line shy, and they'll detect things like that a little better. So, and also a lot of times you're fishing structure. So with a longer rod, you can keep your boat back away from it, or even from the bank, you can reach out to that little piece of structure that's out a little bit further.
Right. That's a great idea. And I know I had mentioned Milliken fishing earlier. I know when I watch him when he's live scoping crappie, he uses, I think, a 12-foot rod. A really light action 12-foot rod. And it's so interesting. I've never caught a crappie on a long rod like that. So I'd love to, just to see what it feels like and see what the difference is. Hey, Hooks and Hammocks, welcome in. It looks like it's fun.
Oh, and it's a blast when you get like a 10-foot rod and you get a 13, 14, 15-inch crappie, 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, whatever, on a rod, that light action rod that long. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do that one day. Maybe I'll end up going fishing with somebody that's got one and I can give it a shot. I don't fish for crappie enough to invest in one just for that, but it would be fun. It would definitely be fun to try it, because watching them live scope crappie are fun. It's fun watching them do that.
Oh, I tell you, the electronics are just, it's something else how things have changed. I remember, that's right, the 2.22 pound crappies.
That's right.
But I remember when I was younger, when I was just a kid, there was no electronics. Like if you wanted to know the depth, a lot of times if you were in a rowboat or in the John boats, you kept a like mason line with a big weight on the bottom, either a big rock or a big plumber's bob or whatever, just a big heavy piece of weight, and you would just you'd have the line marked off at however many feet, and you could drop it down. I know another thing they would do fishing shallows, just trying to find, is you'd have a long stick to go down, and you could tell by hitting the bottom on the stick how far, like a cane pole, like a 10, 12-foot cane pole, and same thing, you'd have that pole marked at so many feet. So when you stick it down, you could tell, okay, there it is. There's the 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot, and you kind of tell that. But you could do the same things kind of from, even if you're fishing like the rivers and deeper water today, like take a lot of times we'll take if I'm on the bank and trying to find out what the bottom is like, you can cast out, if you don't want to use if you don't want to take a chance on getting a 4, 5, 6, 7 ounce lead, whatever, if you're fishing in the river, you can do my rubber band and rock trick and just take the rubber band and the rock, tie the rubber band on, wrap it around the rock, cast that out, let it hit the bottom, and just kind of crawl it back across the bottom. And you can tell, what the bottoms, you can feel if you're hitting other rocks or if it's just a smooth, muddy bottom. You can feel when it starts coming up, so you can tell where that is. You can tell if it's a steep drop off or if it's just a gentle flat. You can tell all that just by casting out something. That's why bass fishermen, I see LG bass out there. A lot of the bottom bank bass fishermen could tell you a lot about water, because especially if they were doing like jigs or Texas rigged worms, things like that. That's what they did. They were slow crawling that heavy lead and rubber worm back across the bottom, so they could tell you where the structure was, whether it was rock, mud, whether there was grass on the bottom. All those things you can tell just by casting something out and slowly bringing it back across the bottom.
Which is fantastic advice because I mean, everybody doesn't have a depth finder, and everybody
Nope.
can't afford a depth finder, and that's okay. You can still learn your water, and you can still learn the area that you're fishing by doing that, by doing the old school ways and keeping it simple. You don't always have to have the expensive equipment and all that to catch fish.
And first and foremost, though, is what everybody can do, and that was something that like my father always talked to us. I guess everybody did back then, was reading the shoreline. Most of the time, not always, but most of the time, if your shoreline is, you got real steep cliffs or whatnot, well, chances are that drop off is going to go right there, right out as at the bank where it happens. If it's like a slow, steady sloping meadow, chances are that in the lake is going to be that, especially if it's natural lake, it's going to be that slow, just a kind of a flat. If there's like a grassy kind of bank, muddy kind of bank, chances are that's going to go out there. If it's a rocky bank, a lot of rip rap and stuff right there, chances are that will go out into the water further. So just by looking at the banks, most of the time you can tell what that's going to look like going out from there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's all great advice, Stan. Thank you for that. That's awesome. But yeah, you definitely just got to learn how to read where you are and figure it out. Sometimes sometimes that's the fun of it, is figuring it out. And then you get on the fish and it's like, score.
We started talking my mouth got running because we were talking about live scope, and then I was bringing up how much it's changed. Yeah. Like I remember we had like the first fish finder stuff. You had where it was just the bleep bleep, and it was the red and green, like they used the sonar. You could tell the depth and things like that. Then they had like the eagle fish finders and whatnot, where it was like everything was like the little square, and it had like a little square fish symbol that came up, and it was like the old school Atari look on them. And now it's to the point where you can literally see the fish swimming in the cover at whatever exact depth and tell if it's a crappie, a bass, a smallmouth bass, how big it is, if there's bait fish around it or not. You can tell what that fish does when you drop a certain bait or a certain color down to it. You could see if I'm twitching that jig just a little bit and it comes in, or if I twitch it really fast and it backs off, you can tell right away. There's so many things that you used to have to take hours to figure out. That one little electronics, now you can just watch what you're doing on the screen. It's just nuts.
It is. Technical advancements, it happens, and it really has happened in depth finders, and the way that they have side imaging and all of that. It's really, 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 really interesting.
And Sandy Toes brings up water flow too. She's exactly right. Yeah, you can tell a lot with the water flow too, what that river's doing. That's a good point.
Yeah, and I think Sandy's exactly right. A lot of people have lost the skills of reading the banks because they depend on their electronics. But what if you're out there fishing and your electronic goes? Are you going to go home, or are you still going to fish? How are you going to handle that? So, it's just it's good to know your surroundings and look and see. Even if you do have the equipment, it's still good to look at your surroundings and see where you are and what you're dealing with. Either way it goes. So it's good to be, on stuff like that and just pay attention, because it does end up serving you well. It did serve many fishermen many, many years.
I keep saying that. I've said it for the longest time that I'm going to do videos on all this stuff. And well, you know how everyone knows how I am with videos. I go live, and that's, but yeah, I really want to, as you can hear, that stuff is near and dear to my heart, all that old school stuff. Mm-hmm. So I really got to just buckle down and do it and put those videos out. And
yeah, it's hard.
I can still remember hearing those lessons when I was younger, and that we're going back a little while. Don't tell anybody, but I still remember them like it was yesterday, you know. And a lot of times, people like Cindy said, a lot of people don't get that nowadays. So
That's exactly right. Well, it looks like it's 8:02. We've got the bait shop coming on Fields to Water. I think they're coming on tonight. I hadn't got a notification yet, but I probably just missed it. There's Yak Shore Outdoors. Welcome in, buddy.
what's up? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then the Panfish Nation comes on with Mark and Lyle. They'll be on after that. And then I haven't got a notification, I don't think, but usually we've got Bex and Stevie from No Real Loss Fishing, live fishing. So there's usually a nice choice on Thursday nights to watch. So jump over and watch and support everybody. And it's fantastic to get to talk to everybody. You got anything to add, Mr. Stan?
No, that's it. Except for y'all got to come back, share it out next week. Lyle Stokes and his awesome jigs talking about crappie, and that's going to be bring a pen and notebook, because little things, crappie, a lot of times it's just the little bitty things that make a difference. An inch and a half to 2 inch.
You didn't have anything to say.
Yeah, I know. Good thing I didn't have anything to say, right? But just little things will make a huge difference, and I can't wait to talk to Lyle about all that kind of stuff next week. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. He's going to come with a lot of knowledge to share. So I'm very, very excited about having him on the show next week.
Yep. And Dustin said, don't forget all them awesome people fishing tonight on Jody's Challenge, and that awesome person, Dustin, that's going to be hosting it up there.
That's right. Good luck, Dustin. I'm sure it's going to go fantastic. And I hope you guys have a great time. I hope everybody in chat has a wonderful week, and we will see you next week with Mr. Lyle Stokes.
See you tomorrow night and Sunday.
Bye, everybody.